Hello everyone, this singer. I hope everyone are doing well. And in this video, we're gonna talk about how to instantly extract information from database. Actually, in this episode, it's a kind of a unique situation because I used to be a sales manager, and a lot of time you're on the go, and maybe sometimes, for example, you're on a train or somewhere you don't have the access of internet, or even sometimes if you're just on the go and moving, mobilizing, and it's impossible just to sit down to open your laptop to log in the system to check about the for example the stock level. Maybe you sometimes, for example, if you've been in the industry long enough, maybe you can remember the unit price. This is the point. However, if the stock is constantly changing, the inventory every day, there's a shipment handling everything, so the database's inventory level is definitely changing every day on a daily basis because you have ordering and like that. However, we can also achieve this using just a phone, and even you don't have internet access, because nowadays the phone is very powerful. You have Excel, and the process of explaining it, the process is first you need to construct Excel using the database. Nowadays is all the database can be extracted. You can extract the data and then use a separate sheet to form the database, and then you just update it constantly, maybe on a weekly basis, or even like 2 weeks, or maybe on a monthly basis. It depends on your schedule. Maybe you have some project on your hand, and you're really like a time squeeze. You don't have enough time to just update every day or on a weekly basis. You need to totally focus, however, on this. At the same time, you need to handle the inquiries from new leads, but prospect customers on from this side. So definitely you have this database set up in Excel, and you use VLOOKUP, and you set up a separate sheet you associate, and then if whatever the inquiry, maybe 100, maybe thousands of them, the items that you just extract the product name, maybe whatever it is, maybe it's a product code, maybe it's a product ID, whatever the item is unique, you can have one to one like a match. And then you just the other important stuff is about the quantity, how much do they want, so you have a can figure out if there's enough sufficient stock or insufficient stock. And at the same time, you can extract the price. So this is probably the first. We just have a brief overview of the workflow of these procedures. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna use Python to generate 100K pieces of data that is associated, of course, with the product. So first we set up the variable and assign the 100K numerical value to the variable, and then we need to have a seed because it's repeatable. Otherwise, every time is different. So we move on to the next. In this step, we just set up the product ID. It's just this part is just use the string in string, and we have the in between we interpolate 6 zeros in between from the initial letter and the last number, because we need the number to change, and this part is just keep it fixed. So this way, for example, if we don't put it in this section, it probably won't, the number extracted from this for loop probably just messed up. you need to have a consistency. That's why we need to have a for loop outside. This for loop actually, the range we need to be, it depends on the situation. If your product starts with 0, then you don't need this one. And if you first add up 1, so because this end value is exclusive, thus if you have like 100k, definitely will be -1. So if you want the product ID starts as 1 and then move on to the exact 100k, then you need to +1. You need to add 1 because it's exclusive. However, after the assigning of those values to the variable, we can have a look at it to just slice the first first 5 values, and then move on to create the product name and have a look at it. You see the same, and we move on to the alternative code. Maybe this is some cases, I guess, is for example, for a company, they have a standard like product ID. However, if you're dealing with the different customers, even in the same industry, they might have their internal codes. That's why you need also have a alternative code to match their inquiry. Because for example, if you have a refrigerator in your product catalog, and maybe the customer just has a different reference to this because it's fully established for them, and they won't just overhaul the system and change to adapt your whatever you are using in your catalog. So they might still use the like a free or some cooler or some other names. It's just you need to have a cross reference to match up whatever they're using. So that's why. And then after that, we can randomly create some inventories. It's just the start and the end is the range of it, and the size means how many pieces of data do we need. It is just exactly 100k because we already assigned the variable. So I guess the inventory has established. You also have it's the same. Those follow the same. This is a uniform. We're just using NumPy module. NumPy, you can imagine it as a numerical generator. You have a lot of data can be generated. This uniform maybe just for the sake, just random. You just want to be anywhere in between the value and then we move on. You generate those numbers. You can then compile them into the pandas data frame. You have column header. This is very convenient because you just use the exact variable and then just stick the quotation marks in wrapping whatever the variable name is, and you form a new column header. The column header is one-on-one. It's like a dictionary. This like column header keys equals this array of values, and then you form, of course, you form the sort of like a matrix or something, and columns, rows. You have column headers and you have a row index and everything here, and then we need to export the data frame to Excel so we can do some manipulation. This is just the purpose for demonstration because normally every company has their own data system or like a ERP, whatever they have. So you can escape those process. You just need to grab whatever in the system and update here. And for example, those columns need to be inconsistent in the ERP, because otherwise you need to paste in another sheet and rearrange it to match up the column. Otherwise you just messed up. It's best just range the default like order of the columns, and then you just grab it and then paste it. It's up. It's like updated, and it's refreshed to the most current values. So for example, right now we're doing a demonstration about it. So for example, this customer has this amount of inquiry, and he has the potential purchase quantity listed like this. This is just randomly generated. I drag it down using Excel, giving some intervals, and then we just copy and paste. Boom, you got yourself the results. Because I highlighted this one, maybe we want to do some experiment on it to do just showcase the normal state, because right now you need to how can I say it, connect to your own database. This can be done using Python. Of course, you can have Microsoft SQL server. You can use Python to directly connect and update it, and you can also collect to MySQL using Python and then extract and do whatever it is. Or you can directly using SQL language to do some like extracting layout and then convert to format. However, I guess very quickly they just keep the layout. You do a one-time copy and paste, you update it in your own Excel, because right now we're evaluating on a monthly basis. Normally, if a company has been established for like maybe a year or so, they have the pattern. Normally, you can average it out, or you can even use the maximum just for peace of mind. However, if, for example, you use the average, maybe you need to update a little bit frequently, maybe 3 weeks or some. Definitely, like shorten the, like increase the frequency, shorten the time span. So this is it. For example, right now we have the inventory updated, but the monthly, like monthly demand still remains the same. It definitely won't affect it. It's just because it's higher. We have set up some the conditions. So on the contrary, if we are just the inventory level just dropped significantly, maybe because we have other project that is going on. However, we didn't set up the master stock in time, so they're in comparison to the demand. It definitely, if you use a buffer, is a negative. Thus, is insufficient. And maybe this another scenario, you have the same, approximately the same number of inventory. However, your demand on the monthly basis has decreased. It's the same. Yeah. I guess that you can realize this very quickly. Later on, I have a short video that is showing how it's done on the cell phone, because nowadays, especially for sales guys, probably most of the time you are on the go. You're like commuting to the destination of customer spaces, hopping from place to place, and maybe sometimes if, for example, you're in a train or some area, maybe on the plane or on the ferry, you don't have access to internet, yet you still have some, maybe right before the sever of the internet connection, you got some inquiry. You just, maybe the customer have a very urgent need, wants to know, because maybe they are facing production line shutdown. If you can confirm it, and they might seek other alternative like a backup supplier, or even to seek in the market for new suppliers to just keep them running. However, you need to have a quick response. However, at this situation, I guess you normally, if you have Excel, you can just use, for example, this workbook I just updated to the OneDrive, so that on your phone you have access to it. You can download it and make it as possible to you can use offline. So you can use Excel on your phone to get access and have a quick look at it. And once you have internet access again, you can just send it to customer, or even some cases you're maybe you're catching a train or some and you can maybe you're in a hurry. It's about boarding. It's like the conductor is calling you on board, and you don't have time to fire up your lab. Even booting up, you don't have the time. Right now, it's okay because you have the offline version. You just grab whatever the inquiry and then paste it, and then you can have a maybe like a long screenshot or some stuff. You can send it to customer, and then you have it done. Thanks.